sit down to knuckle with the Daily Planet. You have to be a monster not to like cheese. Cheese is delicious. But let me tell you that it can be made more delicious. This sounds too good to be true. But I want you to free bear from some fantastic news. Recently, researchers wanted to see if they can improve the taste of the already great semi-soft cassetto cheese. To do this, they prepared a control group using commercial starters S. thermophilus and L. bucci, and this is called the DCC cheese. Then they created another variant of the cheese using this same cheese, but then they inoculated with an attenuated bacterium, LC lactis, called ATT cheese. Attenuated bacteria means that they treat it so that it can produce lactic acid, but it still has the enzymes needed to ripen the cheese. They made five further variants using this ATT cheese. They did this by inoculating the surface of the cheese, and the bacteria were the LE lactis LO cheese, B. casei, BC cheese, S. acarum, SE cheese, B. thermophasi, BX cheese, and mixture of the four surface inoculated bacteria, mixed cheese. To do this, they prepared cultures, and they enlisted the help of an Italian cheese-making factory because who else better to make the cheese? And then they got the rind and core samples on the 1st, 10th, 20th, and 30th day. Then they tested the pH, water content, water activity, fat content, protein content of the cheeses. They also tested the amount of the macrota, or the number of microbes on the surface in the imported cheeses, because the macrota help ripen the cheese and mature it. They also wanted to measure the enzyme activity and the free amino acid of the cheeses, because this measures how much ripening is, and the more there is, the better ripening. Lastly, they got 11 judges to taste test the cheese, the sensory properties instantly. We want to see which ones were the best tasting, best looking, and smell the best. So they found that the fat, protein, and salt content of the cheeses were about the same, as well as the water content. However, the SE cheese had actually was the one that had the lowest pH, while the other cheeses had a higher pH compared to the control. And all cheeses had about the same low water content, which was expected because water is removed from the cheeses as mature and ripen. And then they see that the AT cheese and the surface inoculated cheeses were about the same amount of bacteria compared to, they had the same amount of yeast, mold, and bacteria on the surface and pores, but those greater than the control cheese. So this means that they actually had more microbes promoting cheese. And then these cheeses also had more free amino acids, and they also had higher sense of enzymatic activity, meaning that they had a better ripening than control cheese. And in the taste test, all these cheeses, except for the CC cheese, all the rest score higher than the control. Especially the LA cheese scored the best from all flavor categories and sensory categories. So this study is important because this shows that we can improve the cheese, and we can possibly apply this to other fermented cheeses or other fermented foods. This means that this is a better food product for the consumer without the use of salt and frigid flavors. So I wholly approve of this because we can start saying Bacteri-yum, and you sure believe that this is going to be great. And I hope you guys have a already good day.